Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from around the world, talking with makers from around the world. Here's Jamie Page, Steve Twidell, Chris Cute, and now your host, Richard Morley.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good times, whatever time it is, wherever you're listening. Joins me this week, Mr. Chris Cute.
How y'all doing?
Mr. Jamie Page.
Hello.
Steve Twidell.
All right.
And for some reason, we've multiplied because we've also got a Steve House in the house.
Hello.
Boo.
One other third of the Fools with Tools house. Hashtag. Bye. And last but obviously not least at all, we've also got Gerald Redsmith joining us this week as well. How you doing, Red?
Bonsoir.
Good.
What was that?
Bonsoir. Good evening.
Bonsoir.
Okay. You live closer to France than we do, Jamie. We thought you'd have got that.
Oh, Gerald lives closer to France than what we do.
Jamie, fermer la bouche.
Never mind.
So we titled this. Well, I say we. When I say we, I mean Chris, because Chris does all the pre kind of advertising. But our Steve came up with the name, and it was about 2.5 weeks ago, and we've all completely forgotten where we came up with the "She Chewed It" name, and that's why we got these.
Richard's saying that because he knows Cat's listening. We know how we came up with this name.
I've got absolutely no recollection of what we're going to talk about. But being lots of us, we've all been super busy because obviously everything's super in the maker community. And
super.
You know,
We're smashing great.
Absolutely. So what is, and I know obviously Al and Steve and Gerald have been exceptionally busy because they've been jet setting all over the globe doing busy things, and Jamie's been jet setting to some Kempton race course, London, you know, because that's the good apparently. Has anyone else been doing anything that's not quite super but possibly good that we can talk about and waste an hour because people are actually bothered to listen to this?
No,
I made tea.
How long did it take?
A lot quicker than Steve did.
Mine's a lot better though.
Hashtag just saying.
We're already completely off script, so that kind of explains pretty much how tonight's going to go. So let me just give you all a few seconds to kind of gather your thoughts, and hopefully I'll be able to gather mine as well whilst I go through the normal kind of protocol for the start off of the show, because we generally start off with our shout-outs and thank yous from the previous week, which are pretty quick this week, actually, to be honest. So they do go to Jim Dockrell, Jake Thompson, Harnell Media, Andrew McQuillan, and Shilderboss1. That's a very descriptive handle. I think did that come from Instagram, Chris? He's nodding. He couldn't even be bothered to unmute himself. Okay. Oh, we go. We're going that route, are we? Fair.
Well, I mean, if I say it came from Instagram, yes, Richard, nobody's going to believe me. I'm not on Instagram. What are you asking me for?
So you're not actually. That didn't twig to me when you said I've got this one from Instagram. I didn't make the link to how the hell would you know that? But maybe that's something we can talk about in just a second.
Sure.
Because I think we probably need to go through our sponsors and things like that we always go through as well, which actually aren't on my list, so I'm gonna have to kind of try and remember this from actually knowing the background of who our sponsors are, so this could go hideously wrong. So the first one obviously is our good friend Chad over at Mancrafting. He's still giving away one of his awesome mugs every month, I believe it is. Jamie, please nod and tell me that I'm getting this right. Glyn over at Yorkshire Grit. For more information, go to yorkshire-grit.com. And Pam at Highland Boxes, who's still giving away her pen blanks. So I think that's them, isn't it? Yeah. If you want more information, go to our website, makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors, and all the information is on there. Excellent. So someone help me out because I'm completely losing the plot here. What are we talking about?
Not to forget Harnell Media, of course.
Well, question of the week. We have a question of the week this week.
Do we?
Yeah.
Is it what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Well, That's got to be the other 58 minutes. It's a question that I actually had to come up with myself because nobody asked a question this week. So I brought up one just because I knew we were going to have all these guys in the room today, and it was a question I asked in our group a couple of weeks back. I don't know if you remember, Richard. Well, you wouldn't know. Jamie wouldn't remember.
I have no idea.
Exactly.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast.
Jesus God.
I don't think I even had breakfast, actually.
Shop frustrations. Okay, everybody has at least one. I know. What's that one thing that always seems to annoy you no matter what kind of making you do? There's always something in your making process that when it comes to this point in the making process, you just get frustrated or annoyed. What is it?
Not having a Berkey to blame it on.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Nobody has anything? Everybody loves what they do every time, every moment? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a couple. It's like the lack of ability to plan ahead. So things like not having glue or not having sandpaper or stuff like that. Just like really basic, simple stuff that you think would just be there when you turn around, but it's not. And then you kind of remember that you have to think about these things. So I get frustrated when I'm like in the flow, in the middle of something, and then there's just little stupid things that you just forget and take for granted.
I totally get that. But I'll tell you, mine was waiting. I hate waiting. Like waiting for finish to dry, waiting for glue to dry, things like that. It's always constantly annoying and that's why I probably should have like 2 or 3 projects going on at once. That way I don't have to stand around and wait, but I just, I'm too lazy. So, so I just stand there and get annoyed. And then I drink too many beers and realize I can't do this anymore today and I have to go inside and turn the power off.
Well, I was actually watching
at midday.
Yeah, I was watching your latest video, Chris, with the catapult, which is great, by the way. And like each thing had like some sort of waiting process in between, whether it was the gel stain or the glue to dry. And I was like,
6 days to film that.
Yeah, I was like, how quick is he doing these takes? Because I couldn't be hanging around waiting for that to dry, and there'd just be like thumbprints on everything, and the red paint.
Hold on. It was a great video. He abused a cat.
Well, it was in the title. You got to expect it.
He shot a cat.
What, out of a catapult?
Wasn't a dog.
Let's be fair. Let's go back a couple of episodes, right? Cats deserve it.
What are you saying, the page?
It wasn't a real pet.
Cats deserve it.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Ooh, is this why the title's called She Chewed It?
That cat deserved it. That one did. Unfortunately, it was a Nerf ball and not a rock.
Going to a serious frustration I do, and it does come with scroll sawing, is when you end up with a cheap piece of plywood and you get 3/4 of the way through a project, and all of a sudden you're doing a really, really thin line, and all of a sudden it blows up on you. That actually happened with me over this weekend at the Woodworking Live event. I started doing the demo, told someone in the audience, whoever wants it, they can have the project. Started cutting, and poof, all of a sudden the wolf's got no eye. And I was like, oh, well, onwards and upwards. So,
is that because there was a gap in the ply? There was like a little bit.
No, it's basically the plywood was made out of a mixture of flour and veneer.
that really good quality stuff from Woolworths.
Yeah. It should have been under the floor instead of on the shelves.
Freshly baked plywood.
Yeah. So,
Eddie Crocker's finest. There you go.
What you do, James, is you fill the void with epoxy, and you call it like a river scroll saw. You're not allowed to call it
yeah.
hybrid. Yeah, hybrid scroll saw.
A lake.
Don't Clausen us. Don't Clausen us. Don't.
Sorry, a stream, a puddle.
Well, I have a couple of illustrations. One of them being having to sharpen my tools. I don't enjoy that at all, even though you have to quite a lot when you're wood turning with proper tools, and and cleaning up as well. I hate cleaning up afterwards.
Well, you're a turner. That's because you throw friggin' chips everywhere in the friggin' universe. You're pulling
Shavings. Shavings.
You're pulling shavings. You're pulling them there shavings right out your ceiling there, boy. That's why you don't like it. That's why.
Oh, shut your face.
It's in the light box up ahead there, Dad.
Take it down.
Too bad you couldn't turn wood with wax. That way there'd be less dust.
Turn wood with wax. Well, wax would just break as you're trying to turn the wood with wax.
You gotta get really sharp. You're not sharpening your candles.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be what it is.
You're just using the wrong kind of wax, Steve.
You grit gouge.
There it is. She chewed it.
I've got a funny feeling.
Very much, and good night.
I don't think it was meant to be she chewed it. I think it was meant to be he chewed it, because
it was supposed to be he chewed it. Yeah, I know what it was. Do you want me to remind you what it was?
Well, yes, that was help. I think, being as we're all supposed to be part of the
well, the exact reason why we are titled this title is because your dog chewed through your internet cable.
Yeah, that was this dog.
Yeah. I think that was one of your excuses for not turning up on a podcast or something. I don't know.
Richard, is that dog a male or a female?
Hang on. Yeah.
I'm sorry, is it a male or a female?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, but I'm pretty sure it's sort of boy.
Okay.
All right.
Just stop doing whatever you're doing to find out, please, Richard. This is the right
What, he's just getting it to reverse park.
I'm just curious. How long have you owned this dog? I mean,
no, we don't own it. It's a foster. It's one that's here. It's a temporary pack member. But to be fair, he is in fairly.
So it's a he.
He's in fairly real danger of actually becoming an actual proper pack member. We literally haven't made our minds up yet.
Richard's falling in love.
So it's a male dog. Well, which one of us was homophobic enough to want to change it to she chewed it as opposed to he chewed it?
I think that was you.
I think it was the she, because it sounded better than the clickbaity thing and all the rest.
Clickbait.
Okay, every opportunity today, she chewed it. That's all we can do. That's the best we got. Otherwise, we got to try to figure out what friggin' gender Richard's dog is. That's just not going to be a good thing for a podcast.
Sounds much better than it chewed it.
We could have called it Sex Your Dog. As in determine which.
Oh, whoa!
It's a whole different podcast.
Stole the digger.
Left turn. Left turn in Albuquerque. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shoot you. That's all.
As Al said, back it up.
Just going back, actually, in seriousness, because Al mentioned the whole river table thing, didn't it? And so I hadn't been following that online. Has anyone actually kind of followed the story with any actual reasoning behind it, or actually looked into it, or just heard what was going on?
All I've heard is some guys trademarked the word river because he claims to be the first one to, or he was the first person to make a range of them or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, this guy he's tried to trademark the term river table. It's not actually gone through yet, but he's tried to trademark the term river table because he built a business around river tables, and he is saying that he popularized. He didn't necessarily invent the technique, but he popularized the technique and the term river table. I think, to be honest, from everything I've seen, it sounds like he's doing it basically as a way to stop like cheap imports coming in, where they're making it in a factory somewhere and selling it as a river table, more than he's trying to do it to like stop other makers making river tables. I'm pretty sure if you put a video out saying, epoxy river table or whatever it is you woodworkers do, then
you would
then you'll be fine. I think it's only if you're trying to like mass produce and mass sell them, just so that he's protecting his business, sort of thing. I think, anyway.
Well, because when I first was sort of somebody sort of directed me towards it as part of a different conversation. It was sort of done in the context of him protecting or stopping other people from doing it. But actually, when I look, because I think somebody sent me a link to his Instagram, and he put a picture up that basically said, you know, that he wasn't sending out legal letters to people. Nobody's had been like served by his law team or anything like that, and it was basically, like you say, just to protect his brand more than anything else, rather than to stop anyone else doing it. But you don't have to look very far before getting some really quite strong, very opinionated comments from both sides of the argument, and it just sort of hit me like a Hoover. It's like go and put the Hoover around. You know, it's like it's become, or you know, just, you know, rather than going, I'm gonna use my internet search engine, you just Google it, don't you? Do you know, it's kind of gone into popular vocabulary, this term river table, and all he's trying to do is like protect his name. If that makes
there was a similar thing that happened with the wood turning world as well. With things called sounding bowls. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're literally a bowl. They're just a normal bowl, but then they have strings and the pegs that a guitar would have, tuning pegs, and they're actual musical bowls. And there's a guy called Tobias K was his name. He put the copyright on that design, and now nobody can make a bowl with strings across it and tuning pegs. Unless you go through him.
Yeah. Well, you can because there's no court in the land that would hold that up. You can make one. You just can't make one with the intention of trying to sell it.
So sorry. So you can't make and resell. So I mean,
so this is the thing: is this guy Klassen hasn't copyrighted the technique. He's just copyrighted the name.
Trademark. Okay.
So if I put together a table and only use yellow resin, and I call it the IP freely table, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
Fill your buckets.
And the golden shower table.
Don't.
There we go.
Don't.
As long as it's got like a waterfall end,
that's why we've got Steve at the podcast.
I'm never going to live that down. I will never drink enough brand beer again.
Oh dear.
The golden shower cutting board.
Oh yeah, nummy. Let's throw some fish on there and just complete the picture.
Oh, the golden shower massage table.
Oy vey. Oh my God, Richard, help! Richard,
well, I'm looking to the chat very much. I'm in very real danger of just making up a name, but thankfully Eddie Billiot has saved me, because he wants to know how Jamie got on today, and actually over the I guess the whole weekend, because I've been seeing loads of stuff on Instagram about the name show.
I managed to make a few people laugh, and today by failing.
Were they people watching your demo?
Funny enough, by failing to remember that I had my microphone on. But I managed to make people think that it was part of the act, if you like. I had a question given to me by someone watching, asking me how to know if the scroll saw blade was tensioned properly. So I went and proceeded and said there's a few ways you can tell. Some people just know just by feel. I said other ways you can know by plucking the blade by the ping that it makes. So I released the tension and it started tightening it up, and it started pinging the blade. And obviously when it got to the tone, I took off my microphone and went down in close, and somewhere out of nowhere I just went ping 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 Layla. And didn't realise, I just made it look like it was all part of that. And actually Dave G Designs was actually out in the thing, and he shouted out, and he told me afterwards, I didn't actually hear him, but he asked me if I could play Stairway to Heaven.
Brilliant.
I do want to congratulate you though, Jamie, over the weekend, because you did manage to learn which way to hold your phone when doing a live feed on Facebook. So congratulations on that.
Eventually,
yeah. That was a very exciting first video.
Only on my second try.
Jimmy, was that your first demo? Was that the first demo you did for like a live audience for people?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the first demo I did was, to me, I guess I would have considered it a bit of a disaster, but I was told that it's because I was the last person on, and because everything was running slow, if you like. And by the time I actually got on to do my demo, the show was kind of coming to a close.
So everybody left.
So everyone was kind of leaving anyway. So by the time I actually got on, there was only about 5 people there. So when the show actually ended, there was like 2 people watching. So
they asleep?
But I mean, so when by the time I'd actually finished, they were closing down all the cameras and they turned off the TV and all that sort of stuff. So and they had to turn and say, right, yeah, that's it. They were kind of like doors closed now. Everyone basically go home. Well, these 2 people basically stayed there and come up on the stage and just carried on and watched me finish the project.
Well, Jamie, that's just because they locked the doors and they couldn't get out, so they had no.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So I turned around to this guy. I said, "Look, are you in a bit of a rush?" And he said, "Well, yeah, kinda." I said, "Look, there you go. You take this project now." I said, "I'll let you peel off the rest of the pattern." So they were happy with it.
Yeah, cool.
Even though the pattern had like a wolf with one eye.
It's in battle.
Yeah.
There's a wolf with stories.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I could have said it was like Twilight or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't Scarface. Who was Scarface in? Scarface the wolf. He only had one eye.
Animals of Farthing Wood.
Was it? Could have been.
No, wasn't that the uncle from Lion King? Wasn't he like the nasty uncle?
Oh, it was Lion. That's right. It was Lion King.
Scarface. Tony Montana. He had a real coke problem.
Yeah.
We could do a whole show on your guys' viewing habits on television. What are you guys doing? What are you guys currently watching? The Lion King, man. Why? What are you?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Apparently, it's like all good.
Oh.
Yeah.
And their best friends, Timon and Heroin.
Especially just if you're coked out of your mind.
Just think yourself lucky I haven't burst into Baby Shark.
Oh my God! Well, we can't go without explaining why Gerald and Steve and Al are currently kicking themselves in the ass for coming on today. Because I happened to run into these guys last weekend. You guys want to talk about what went on last weekend a little bit? Let people know. I mean, I'm sure the majority of the free world probably understands and probably has heard about it, but I don't know. Have you guys talked about this on your podcast? I know you guys did a show from Jimmy's barn, but have you guys talked about anything afterwards? What your feelings were after you split, and what you kind of reflecting back on it? How kind of thing. I mean, you guys want to tell us what the fuck happened at Jimmy's place, right?
Red is the kind of the one of the students there. I think you could take it a slightly different point of view than me and Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was lucky enough to go to take my first trip to the US and go to Jimmy's place to take Rory's class. Jimmy and Rory's class, first blacksmithing, intro to blacksmithing class, and it was just awesome because Rory, Jimmy, Brett, Al, Steve, Jess, and 15 other students were there. 14 other students were there, me included. 15, okay, you do the math. To just enjoy the weekend, learn a bunch of stuff, eat some hot metal, and just be together, enjoying being together and learn new stuff. And it was just awesome. It was my first trip to the US. I was kind of expecting seeing New York City and stuff, but I didn't, which is totally fine because we were very busy and I didn't go to the US for that. I went for the class, obviously. And Yeah, what can I say? It was awesome. So,
Oh no, it's I mean, you flew into New York City. You flew into JFK. So I mean, you obviously saw the city, but you just didn't go walk around the city, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was in the middle of the plane, so no window. I couldn't see anything when we landed. No, I didn't see the city.
Unless Brett blacked out his windows, I'm assuming you were able to look outside, Gerald. Jesus, I mean, God, I mean.
Yeah, I saw some tall building in far away when we were on the highway, but it was fine. I was with my friend, and it doesn't matter. It was that
because you had to? Did you have to kick out one of the tail lights so you could like see through the little hole in
the boots?
Well, Steve, I'll ask you because you actually went there and you had a clue. So...
No, I didn't.
Well, you pretend well. Let's put it that way, okay? We're gonna give it to you, Steve. Shut up. How did it go for you? I mean, did you first of all did you learn anything, or were you just kind of more in the hey, I'll help out and kind of do my thing while I'm here? I mean, what was it like for you?
It was weird for me because it was going over there to obviously assist Rory with the actual running of the class and everything, but it was a completely different curriculum to what I'm used to. It's a completely different style of blacksmithing to what I do, and different techniques and all that. We've said on ours that there was a few times where I'd go up to a student and be like, you probably shouldn't do it like that. If you try doing it like this instead, then you might get a better result. And then they turn around and said, oh, but Rory just came over and told me to do it like that. I was like, oh, yeah, do it like that. But yeah, it was a really good one. I picked up a few different techniques, learnt a fair bit from Rory himself. I mean, it was kind of weird meeting him, because when I first started getting into blacksmithing, he was one of the people that, you know, I followed on YouTube, and I learnt a few bits from him and picked up ideas and things like that. So yeah, getting to meet him, and not only meet him, but actually kind of work with him was kind of a big deal for me. And just kind of, especially considering where I was a year ago to where I am now, and the fact that, you know, I went out there with two amazing friends, and Brett was there as well.
We should have invited Brett on so he could defend himself. But
it's more fun if you can. But yeah, like went out there with two really good friends, met more friends out there, both people that I'd met before, and people that I'd never met. And yeah, it was a great experience. And I think I even said, coming off the back of it, like one of my Instagram posts, I said, like, going out there and doing a group class with those people was, obviously there's a lot of people that really want to go out and meet, you know, Jimmy and Rory and Red and people like that. But if you have the opportunity to get involved in any kind of group class or hang out, like blacksmiths do hammer-ins and things like that quite often, if you can get the chance to get involved in something like that, just take it. It doesn't matter if it's someone that's big on YouTube or whatever. Just the amount of people that you'll meet, and the friendships and the skills that you learn, and the friendships you forge, it's completely invaluable. And for the cost of whatever it is to go along to a weekend like that, I think it's more than worth it. So, like, yeah, more people should do stuff like that.
And it was, and just from my brief time that was there, because I only hung out with, you know, for like a couple hours with you guys, but I noticed that the majority of people that were there, they weren't exactly what I would call newbies, but they weren't a lot of, you know, obviously professional blacksmithers don't need to go to blacksmithing class. So there are a lot of people there that were in the learning process. And did anybody get hurt over the weekend? I mean, did anybody make a mistake and pick up hot black metal? I mean, you did. Good, Steve.
Yeah, I burnt myself quite badly on my inner arm, just there, with a pair of tongs, and that was just because I'm a dumbass.
Me too. But my hand.
Why have you got a pair of tongs, like holding it under your?
I genuinely don't even know how it happened. I think I just grabbed them off of an anvil because someone else was just about to use the anvil, and I'd put them down in the way, and I kind of grabbed them off and swung them round in my arm just so that they were tucked up out of the way, and they just hit the inside of my bicep and singed a little bit.
Bacon, Steve style.
Branded.
So did you three fly out all together, or did you and Al fly out together, or all separately, or how did it work?
I went up to Bristol and I went up to Leeds, and flew out from Manchester with Al, and then Red landed in the airport about an hour behind us, I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
More or less.
Yeah, and then I think our flights back out of New York were only like an hour or something apart as well, so it was all pretty tight.
I was a bit disappointed. I heard all these sort of horror stories of airport security in America, and I wore my best boxer shorts and everything, and they just let me straight through.
First time I went to America, I nearly had a rubber glove job.
A what job?
A rubber glove job.
Oh, okay.
Was it a female? I mean, can we throw Sheet Unit in there?
Was there Yorkshire grit involved?
No, the rest of the ice pick was though. I had one laying in the bottom of my rucksack of the rest of the ice pick, and luckily they didn't see it.
Wait a minute, your what sack?
The rest of the ice pick in
The
rucksack.
rest of ice pick.
In a rucksack.
The rest of the ice pack in a rucksack.
In a rucksack.
In it.
In it.
Why do you guys carry around rocks and sacks? I don't get it. I mean, that's
because we're British, governor.
Sorry,
exchange rate is terrible.
You know, I'll just throw this in there on an aside. Earlier this week, I saw a post from one of your fellow UK people, and he was using a lot of what you might call UK slang in his post. And I'm reading it, and
you mean English?
And whatever, British, yeah, English, yeah. And I get the gist of it, but then I looked at the very bottom of it, and I'll be damned if Facebook didn't ask me if I wanted a translation for it. I was like, "Oh, I got to bring this up. That's just hilarious." See translation. I'm like going, "Oh, I have to click on this." What does it say? Anyway, it was funny. Al, what about you? What about your experience there?
I'm the same as Red. I'd never been to the States before. So that was like an eye-opening experience for me. I didn't know what to expect at all. But even from what you guys do in terms of the sort of international community, it just felt totally at home. You know, just like I've communicated with American people in this community, as well as other Europeans and Australians and all over the place. So it didn't feel like this weird place. It didn't feel like I was in another continent on, hours and hours and hours away from where I'm used to. It just felt like I was going to my friends, or I felt like I was going down the road. It helped that kind of the landscape was quite similar. You know, all the trees was quite similar, and the weather was almost as shitty as England. But the fact that everyone was super welcoming. You know, the course had a lot of New Yorkers in it, so they were quite kind of, boisterous characters and confident. But
flew freely. Yes, I'm sure.
But everyone was super nice. Everyone was really friendly. Like you say, Chris, there was a mix of people who had absolutely no experience to people who kind of knew the way around Anvil, but there was no egos there at all. Everybody was just there for a good time. Everyone was there to learn and to experiment and do things they'd never done before. I just the whole experience from start to finish was fantastic. And to Steve's point, no matter what it is, if you've got an opportunity to go and do something like that you've not done before, doesn't matter what scale it is, if it's just for an afternoon, just bite your hand off. You might not get that opportunity again. So yeah, I couldn't recommend it more. I know they're doing another class in a few weeks, and I know they've got another one starting to book up that they've got in planned next year as well. So that's just Jimmy's in particular, but I know there's classes all over the place. Blacksmith Andy, an English blacksmith, just ran a class this week. So they're all over the place, and it doesn't have to be just blacksmithing. Obviously, go and learn ceramics. Go and do anything you've not done before. I couldn't recommend it more.
The thing I noticed when I was listening to the podcast was how much you all kind of learnt about teaching too. Do you know, rather than just the art of blacksmithing, but how it's taught as well. You spoke a lot about that on the podcast, about the little tricks and tips that you all picked up on how each other explains things and teaches things. So I mean, that's a different side of it, I suppose.
Yeah, completely. And the fact that we're all from different cultures, we're all from different backgrounds, we're all different ages, we've all got different levels of experience. It's really sort of encouraging to see how people take on advice in this community. You know, there's very few people who kind of, I know it all and I don't need to be told. You know, we're not all Jamie on the scroll saw, but like a lot of people kind of they'll happily come and you know, when you came to the Hack Shack and kind of taught me, you know, 101 routing. I've never touched a router before in my life. And within minutes, you kind of made me understand how to feel comfortable. You kind of dumbed it down enough that I would get it, but you weren't patronizing. And just this kind of being able to share skills and knowledge with one another. You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to know how to teach anyone. It's just that kind of mutual respect, being passionate about what you do, and just like being open and having a conversation. And I think we're all doing it. The fact that you've even, you know, invited us on tonight just to have a slightly different voice or a slightly different take on things. It just, that was my whole experience of the weekend.
Jamie would just spend the whole weekend at a blacksmithing weekend saying, I could do that on a scroll saw.
Playing Layla on the anvil.
You know, I could do that. I could make an axe. I could make an axe on a scroll saw, and it'd be sharper than that.
The amount of times I walked around that woodworking show and looked at the person that made something and said, I could do that on a scroll saw. I just walked away. Even when it came to spheres and things like that, I could do that on a scroll saw and just walked away.
How to make friends and influence people, AJ.
Yeah.
With a spiral blade.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're totally FOS means nothing. It's just, it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Red, was this the first class you've done, not just with blacksmithing, but you know, anything along the sort of the making lines, or have you? I mean, you might even have experience teaching in terms of the leathercraft from when you were in overseas.
It wasn't the first class I took. I took when I was living in a foreign country. I took a class of pottery and another one of glass blowing, but it was 1 and 2. So I've never experienced so far before the blacksmithing class. I never experienced so many students in the same room or in the same space, learning all together with one or several teachers. And what was very interesting for me was looking at the teacher, how he responded. So Rory, how he taught to the students. And we thought about that in the podcast, Fools with Tools podcast.
Never heard of it.
Who are those guys?
Best podcast in the world.
Money's in the post, Red. Money's in the post.
So we talked a little bit about that, and for me the best technique when it comes to teaching is explaining something, and most importantly adapt the way you explain something to the people you have to the person you have in front of you. You don't teach the same way when you are teaching to a kid or to a 80 years woman. So you have to adapt, and not the same when it's a beginner or when it's someone who has a little bit of experience, who even better, someone who has big experience on the matter of blacksmithing or otherwise or else. So seeing 15 people learning all together in the same space with one teacher and 3 assistants was very interesting. I was one of the students, and it was just very, very smooth. Everybody was walking around and just paying attention to the students, what they were doing and how they were doing that. And when they were busy explaining something to a student, the other student didn't hesitate to ask to other students, am I doing this right? Because it doesn't do what I want to do. And that was just awesome, because as Al said, people hadn't any ego during the class. It was just people being together, wanting to learn and having a good time. So no ego, just I want to do that. I can't manage to do it. Can you explain me? And no matter if it was a student or a teacher or teaching assistant, it was all the people wanting to learn together, and that was just a great experience. And as a teacher, it was awesome to see.
You know, and there wasn't just amazing blacksmithing going on there too, because I can tell you when I got there, Steve had created this amazing piece of woodworking. It was a tripod that he made to hold a little thing that he made for Jess, and I was astounded at the craftsmanship that he put into that, Steve. That was absolutely friggin' awesome, man. I mean,
did he make it in the forge?
No, he basically cut a branch off a tree and stuck it in the ground. But it was amazing. It was just I would never have thought of that. It was just, Steve, you're my idol. I just want to say that.
I mean, you joke, Chris, but actually, like when people were taking the metalworking things, Taylor was kind of helping them make leather accessories for them. So a couple of people were taking the bottle openers and things, and then learning how to stitch and make handles for them. So that, like, even beyond the actual class that people were going to take, there was this sort of passion to take it further and learn even new skills. So you joke about Steve's fantastic bit of woodworking, but it was really just contagious, and everybody was wanting to get involved. So yeah.
And that was the thing, is like everyone that was there just wanted to keep making, like, and the kind of it was really nice seeing people go away and just being massively inspired and knowing that, you know, as soon as they get home, the first thing that they're gonna want to do is get out in the workshop and play around. Like the amount of people that that were then talking about, I might build my own forge, I might do this, I might do that. Like I can't remember who it was. I think it was Nick, one of the Nicks. There was about 8 Nicks there.
And I'm Nick.
But one of them, he turned up and he was convinced that he wanted a gas forge, and gas forges are expensive. So he was like, I'd really like to, but I don't know if I can afford to get into it, because he'd never worked on a coal forge before. And by the second day, he was just flat out refusing to use the gas forge because he'd fallen completely in love with the coal forge. And that was it.
I see a t-shirt battle coming on here. Team Coal Forge.
Yes.
But yeah, no, and he's now like completely convinced that that coal forges are the way to go for him, and that's what he wants to do. And actually, that the price for entry, sort of like the bar for entry, is much lower for a coal forge. So he's now going away so that he's going to build a little coal forge in his back garden and do that. And it's really nice seeing that kind of that little fire of inspiration in people to not necessarily go and do blacksmithing, but just to go and make anything. Like if you're, again, we're going back, or I'm going back to saying, like, if you get the chance, go out and meet other makers and take classes and get involved, because you might not be inspired to take up that craft, but you can learn things from that craft and techniques and things that you can then utilize in what you do, and get that inspiration to kind of take it into your craft.
And the fact that it's a hands-on situation, to where, you know, you've got the people there that you hopefully you know them, hopefully you like them. Because I've been to a couple of events where I knew people and didn't like them, but I mean, I'm just saying that it's like, but you have the chance, not only in a hands-on situation like that, you get to ask the questions and actually attempt to do it right there as you're asking the question. But I would say that that's pretty much true with a lot of events that we go to. I mean, like Maker Central, like we did last year, or earlier this year, I should say. And a lot of the other events, even if you're not actively making something, you are in a situation with a lot of people with a lot of knowledge. You can always ask questions, you know, and there's tons of questions that I always have for everybody I always meet at some event, because I'll see some guy do something and I'll go, how did you do that? It's like, I know I've asked Gerald on several times before on things that I've seen him do. I've messaged him going, I want to know, how did you do that? Because it you know, I'm intrigued. I wanted to know. And you know, the knowledge is there and it's available, but when you get to actually do it on a one-to-one basis, that's just freaking awesome. That's cool. And these guys asked me if I wanted to pick up a hammer and hit metal. And when I was there, and I said, dude, I brought beer. I'm here. I mean, it's like, no, I'm not. No.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cheers. But I was like, no, I didn't come here to embarrass myself. I came here to say hello. How are you?
Tony Rouleau tried.
No, well, you know what? It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that that's not on my bucket list of things that I think I really, really want to get into. I mean, I love watching you guys do it. I think it's interesting as hell. I've still got a lot to learn in woodworking. I mean, if I started picking up metalworking now, I mean, I'd never get to where I want to be. And I may never get there, by the way.
Well, don't worry about it, Chris. We'll play a bit of Flash Dance.
Oh, thanks, Jamie.
Your element.
Chris, I had a question for you in the chat there from Dave Portal Woodworks. He said, "What's the contraption on your workbench?"
Yes, Chris. What is it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I've got the picture saved if you want me to refresh your memory.
You can refresh my memory if you'd like, but I still won't know what you're talking about. The elves in my shop are into weird stuff, and you know that I leave at night and I come back in. There's this weird machine on my bench, and I don't know what they've been doing at night, but apparently they've been watching too many Jamie Page videos. That's all I can say.
oh, look at that!
Yeah,
it's a scroll router.
That's yeah. That's a vintage 1979 Craftsman scroll saw. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it runs just like a vintage 1979 Craftsman scroll saw, which is why you hardly will ever see it. Yeah, I had to break out a scroll saw in a project, but I didn't film it solely because I knew the crap I'd get from Jamie.
I just noticed something. I think we're feeling a bit left out here, Steve.
Hold on. Talk again.
What's he showing now?
Hello.
Well, those are the stickers on my cabinet that I have. Just because my sticker cabinet is full. That's
there.
Don't look that full, Chris.
Yeah.
No.
Our podcast isn't there. Fools with Tools isn't there.
My sticker's not there. So just get over it. All right, move on. This was she chewed it, not pick on Chris. And yeah. Well, wait a minute. That actually does work because she.
In Chris's defense, the only reason your sticker's not there, Jamie, is
the only reason you're defending him is because your stickers are there.
Well, obviously there is a certain amount of.
Says Mister, I'm going to have a go at Chris for the size of his workshop every week for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
I think Jamie's tired.
He's had a long day.
Jamie is what the Canadians call tired and cranky, eh?
So, how about that blacksmithing, boys? I mean, let's talk about a coal forge. Come on, let's go. Holy moly.
Dave the wood barber actually brought up an interesting thing there in the chat, saying that coal forges will soon be no more because of the diminish of coal.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of it, which is kind of a little worrying. But I mean, are they going to do away with all coal? Because like charcoal and stuff like that. We use charcoal occasionally and things like that. So I'm a bit curious about that one. That's going to have a little bit of research done on it later on.
Maybe I don't know about the amount of resource of coal there is left in the world, but I know you can make, if you've got a bit of wood, you know how to build the proper fire, you can make charcoal all freaking day long. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think it's a big worry, guys. I really don't.
But I mean, I don't know.
What's Santa going to do for the naughty kids?
He brings turf. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are elsewhere, but here in Ireland, we can't have fires. We can only have fires.
Team coleslaw. Win. Oh, that's.
There's a T-shirt.
I absolutely love you.
Write that
down. Yes, no. Here in Ireland, we can only have fires twice a year. That's it.
Wow. Why?
What, like bonfires?
Yeah, so we can have one at Halloween and we can have one kind of midsummer. That's it. No fires.
Not even like
outside.
A barbecue or anything like that.
Outside, no fires outside. You can have barbecues, yeah, but you can't have fires outside. They're even trying to ban fire pits.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what's their definition of a barbecue? Because I mean,
if there's an Englishman burning on top of it, then you know.
Yeah.
I could make
and several Irishmen with forks stabbing him. He's done.
let's just take a roof off the neighbor's house and just make a fire in there and call it a barbecue. Wow. You live in a strict country, Steve. Ireland, only 2 fires, which surprises me with the amount of drinking you guys do. There's probably more than 2 fires that happen a year. I mean, come on.
They should call it Fireland.
Fireland.
And burn fast.
And they're all totally fearless.
No, they're drunk. They're just drunk.
Yeah, they're drunk. They're drunk.
It's when the women are absent and the sheep are looking good.
No, that's Wales.
No, it's we're making no friends today on this podcast.
Where all the women are called Betty and Barbara.
She cheated. She cheated.
Rich was supposed to kind of steer this ship.
They're taking advantage of me because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather this week, Steve. That's what it is. And to be honest, I can't be bothered. Just let it go. You know. I think after the 3 years, nobody really expects anything.
Well, you know.
Poor Richard. I almost felt sorry for you there.
No,
I've got a question from Richard.
Oh God.
For Richard? Oh God. Yeah. Oh God.
No, just wondering. Are you all kind of satisfied with the Make It Happen road trip? And if so, are you busy kind of editing stuff when we were expecting to see maybe some of the videos coming out? You've got a lot of people very excited about this project of yours.
Translation is Al wants to know when the hell his video is going to be posted on YouTube, so we can.
Yeah, pull your finger out, Richard.
Yeah, no. So essentially, yes, I have started editing. I'm actually in the process of editing Jamie's episode at the moment, purely because Jamie's was the first.
That reminds me, I
episode.
need to get some footage to you.
Yes, you do. That was going to be my next comment. So because of the kind of the physical logistics of how the computer is, it can basically only handle one project at a time. Because I don't know why, and if anyone knows the answer to this or a way around it, please let me know, because it means I can be more productive.
It's a shit computer. That's why you need to get a better computer.
What happens is all the rough raw footage clips are taken from the basically just ignore you, Chris. Yeah, that's exactly what it loads all the raw footage onto the machine and then needs it again to do all the kind of cutting and rendering. Yeah. So it just hogs loads of memory on the machine. So I can't do more than one because I haven't got enough storage space.
Right.
So I've got Jamie's in the mix at the moment, waiting for a couple of clips to come over from him. Then that'll get edited and pushed out. And then the next
you're blaming it on Jamie now. You're waiting on Jamie, so you're blaming it on it's Jamie's fault.
I've actually,
in Richard's defense, he asked me about 2 weeks ago to send them clips, and I still haven't.
Oh, so it is your fault.
It's fine. It is fine. But I never actually. Well, I was hoping to get the first episode out either September or October. It was going to be obviously late September, early October.
Okay, reality.
Because I deliberately wasn't very specific. It's still October.
Yeah,
it still is October. So,
but it's not September. I'm just saying.
No, but it is technically September or October because that's a choice.
So next year. Then.
And obviously, I didn't specify a year, but if it gets to Halloween.
Come on now, in all fairness, Richard's very busy.
How can I open in this?
Richard's very busy doing three-dimensional drawings on his computer.
Piss off, Steve.
If Richard ever comes out and asks for your help to write a book, just don't freaking help him, okay?
When you're quite finished. So essentially, up until the point it gets to Halloween, I'm not technically late, although, a couple of people have said, when's it coming out? And the other thing I need to do is the results of the giveaway for the Make It Happen road trip giveaway.
Cool.
Which is also going to be this month. So the short answer, Steve, and go jump yourself, Steve.
Hey, what did I do?
No, not you, the other one.
Yes, Steve. Yes, Steve. Such a troublemaker, Steve.
Hashtag the other Steve.
This month, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, and also the giveaway as well. So, and then I want to do one every. The aim is to do one a week, through, and that will lead probably up until I think Christmas. I mean, don't know. Somebody will know how many weeks it is from now until Christmas.
Wonderful. So it's going to be snowing outside, and I'll be watching you bop around in the sunshine. That's nice. Okay. And by the way, Richard, you missed a really good tie-in. You said, well, it would have been out earlier, but she chewed it. Oh, Richard, you could have done it. You just totally missed that. I'm just saying.
So in answer to your question, well, I would have done out, but she chewed it.
It's just not as good now. I'm sorry. Okay, whatever.
But it could be. You can edit that, can't you?
No, yeah, right. You edit it. All right, let's move on. We don't have much time left anyway. What's everybody watching? Who wants to give some love today? We got some shout outs to do. Who wants to start? Please tell me you guys came prepared. Gerald did. Thank you, Gerald.
I want to thank Jimmy Diresta, obviously, Taylor Forrest for organizing the class, Brett McAfee, Skill and Spades 13 for doing everything that was necessary for this class to happen. You can watch his video. It went public this morning, I guess. It's called Diresta Blacksmith Shop Build Out. It's an awesome video. You will see all the prep for the class. And I would like to thank Dirty Smith, Rory May, for coming, making the trip, and teaching 3 days of awesome blacksmithing.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, just for future reference, guys, I need one, okay? Because, I mean, YouTube will only let me write a description. So
that was one. I mean, big one.
Okay, all right. Well, okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean...
Okay, so
hey, I'm French. I don't obey orders.
No, you
don't. We are like that. We made a revolution. We do.
You bonded.
You know me.
You know it was over. I get it. Okay, great.
Love you, Chris.
All right. Love you too, man. All right. So Jimmy and Taylor, Brett, and then also Rory Smith. All right. So you just stole Steve's. You stole Al's. No, okay, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
Steve, you got anybody you want to mention?
Well, Red's basically taken everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a shout out to Tyler Bell, who was one of the guys that was there on the course. And Al is wearing his shirt. He was a young guy, super, super nice. Like really took on everything that was being told to him. Shot loads of footage. Even did a video of the full fly guys. And made us all look great, which was really nice because I don't know if anybody's seen Brett's video yet, but he didn't actually put any shots of me in. He just put my name and then a clip of Jimmy.
What does that say?
Great. Yeah,
right? Steve, forgive me. I'm sorry, but the guy's name was Tyler. Is that Tyler? Because I'm writing this down as you speak. And what was his last name again?
Tyler Bell. Bell.
Ding dong. The channel Tyler Bell Mix.
Gerald, we've heard enough from you. Go ahead.
But yeah, he's a new guy on the scene, and I think big things are going to come from him. He's a really, really good lad. So.
Now, obviously on YouTube. All right, Al, hit me.
So when I'm normally on this show or watching this show, Richard spiffs me, and it really pisses Chris off. So I thought I'd keep with tradition and throw a bit of love Chris's way. When it gets to this time of year, Chris, you start doing kind of the toys for kids thing.
Yeah.
Really gets me going. It really gets me. I'll for killing cats.
After killing cats.
Kids hate cats too. Yeah, and it just really gets me going. It really gets me thinking about kind of people that need, our help and our encouragement and our enthusiasm, and a little bit less fortunate than us. And I think, Chris, you've got a great attitude towards that. And I think just watching you make toys for kids just makes me happy. And I think more people should go and watch your videos if they don't already, because I've certainly enjoyed the last two. So Keep up the great work.
Well, thanks. I'm not gonna write that down though, because I mean, people want to find. But thank you for making it easy on me. All right, Richard.
Unless you're going to do yourself, Chris, and then I've just ruined your choice.
No. It's cool. That's all right. You know, I'm humbled that you would even watch my videos, because I guarantee you, Richard hasn't seen a damn one of them yet. It's all right.
They're on his watch later list.
Yeah, exactly. Richard's like, I've got a head cold. I don't need this.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Chris is changing his channel to make the first kill.
Yeah. After this,
Al, do you reckon you could fit a small kitten in the barrel of Tira?
Well,
yeah, several.
I'm just gonna. Yeah. What do you want? Shoot it. All right, come on. Punishment has to be involved. Jamie, Steve, help us out. Thank you, Al. That was nice.
I have a shout out. Yes, my shout out. I actually have two. So up yours, Chris. Gene Messer is a guy that I want to shout out. Now, Gene is a wood carver, whittler, I suppose you can call him. An awesome hand carver. Doesn't use many power tools at all. It's all by the hand, and he just carves some serious stuff. But back in a few months ago, what storm was it? Storm Harvey, was it? I forget which one. He's in the States, and he lost his house, his workshop, his truck, all his tools. All he walked out with was a suitcase full of clothes and 2 shotguns. I think that was it, out of everything that he owned. And he's done some videos, slowly getting back to it, and now he's kind of set up his life again, and he's back on the track again. So big shout out to Gene Messer. Great channel, and yeah.
No, wish him the best.
Good carver. And there's also another shout out I want to do, but it's quite a serious shout out. Professionally, I'm not allowed to name the child's name because it's a work thing, but I'd like everybody who is watching and in the chat to, if you pray or if you think of a little 6-year-old boy that I work with is very, 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 very sick. So if you just think about him, it'll be good to get some positive vibes towards him and his family.
Grab your St. Christopher, close your eyes,
Yeah.
and give it a thought. Thank you.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. All right. Great. Jamie, on that note.
Yeah, I've got a shout out. Not for any channels because I haven't really had a chance to watch anything this week. I just want to basically just give a massive thanks for the hospitality of Record Power and D&M Tools this past weekend. It's been absolutely incredible, and they've made the weekend show absolutely brilliant. And if anyone in the UK ever gets a chance to go to the D&M Tool show at Kempton Park, please go. It's an absolutely brilliant event.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna throw mine out this week too. Izzy Swan and Megan Baker. I don't know if you guys saw the collab that they did, but that was an extremely fun video that Izzy and Megan put out. It's on Izzy's channel. The name of the video is called "Extremely Fun Modern Rustic Bench." And way to hit the clickbait, Izzy. You're the man. But no, it actually was a fun video to watch. So if you have the opportunity to check that out, he put that out earlier this week, or I mean, by the time you're listening to this on Wednesday, it would have been last week. But go check that out if you haven't, because Megan apparently is big on Instagram, but she's going to be starting her own YouTube channel here soon. And they came up with this cool freaking bench. It was awesome. So anyway, nice job, guys.
I thought you were going to talk about the table saw table leg that he did.
No.
Table saw.
No. I expect that from Izzy. I don't expect to see him with a female and doing stuff.
Okay, let's just back that up a little bit. I was going to
She chewed it.
That's how I got that twist on there.
That's some good beer you're drinking, Chris. Good man.
Izzy's a big man, and I know the next time I see him, I am dead. Anyway, go ahead. Richard, please make him forget I just said that.
No. We're staying on this one. So my shout out this week is Dan over at Maker Geek. I met him at Maker Central. I've been following him for quite a while, actually, before Maker Central. And he's a bit of a geek, and he does a lot of CAD and 3D printing stuff as well. And his other half is a maker, but I can't remember her name because I'm rubbish with names, so I do apologise, Dan. But he's doing like a weekend live stream. So he does an hour or two every Saturday, every Sunday, where he's just basically getting on with what he's getting on with, but live streaming it. So that's quite an interesting insight into how his mind works as he's kind of going through his CAD journey. So I found it quite interesting.
He's such
I'm
a
going to give you a
cad.
shout out for that. And a bounder as well, I believe. But yeah, no, that's a good one to watch if it's something that you potentially are into. I wasn't, because I couldn't see a end game. But when you see an end game to it, it suddenly gives you a kind of a goal, as it were. So that's my shout out.
Yay.
Bravo, bravo.
And the crowd goes wild. Anyway.